You, I think, last week said they were pretty damn close to exactly how you thought it was going to be. I think BYU's a little slightly lower than you thought. How did they get it last night? Did they do well?
Last night, well, and I think we should qualify to everybody listening is one of the things that me and my team have been doing inside the numbers, literally for fun, with the playoff committee, is tracking their decision process, because we believe that there is no eye test, and that most of the decisions are made very quickly and made in blocks of 4 within numbers. And there's a specific set of numbers that they use. And I can go into those ad nauseum by each team. But if you look at their behavior of the last 11 years, every single ranking they've ever had, and you take all those numbers and say, here is how they should behave this week. And we ran the numbers for 1 through 16. The first 8 were dead on last night. They behaved exactly as the last 11 committees have behaved within the numbers. So in spite what everybody thinks and I swear, media just makes things up and makes fans go crazy thinking that there's a real eye test and all these other things going on. These are very powerful, busy people that don't have time for an eye test. They got to get it done quick, and they stick to the ranking rules because that's what the committee does. They don't get to make up the rules. They're told, here are the rules to rank teams. They stuck to their guns, and there was very few. I'll give you BYU. BYU is the first time they really toggled, because we had BYU in above Texas and Oklahoma. But I think we could all take a look at that and go, look, if we're going to mess with something, let's just tell everybody we think Texas and Oklahoma would beat BYU right now, because, well, I think we'd all agree that that's a good choice. But 1 through 8, dead on to expectations last night.
Dave, so is then the problem in the messaging from the committee that we've gotten all these years, instead of saying, like, there's so much clouded secrecy around it, which doesn't seem to be necessary. Like, this is not the Iran deal, right? Like, they're not, the CIA's not involved. I don't know why there's not transparency. They could just play the meeting, and
they promised us transparency in the beginning, didn't they?
Yeah. Like, they could just say, like, here you go, boom. And, like, these are the rankings we spit out. And then when you get towards the end and you may have one that is like a razor thin margin, then that's where the debate should come in, right? Where you're like, man, we're splitting hairs between 12 and 15 here this year. This is going to be tough.
Right. But here's the thing is I believe they're manufacturing the drama because that's what you, the fan, wants. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, if I come up and go, look, Ohio State's number 1 because their strength of schedule is here, their game control is here, here's their quality wins. They got 5 of them, which is the best in the country. They got 2 top 25 wins, and here's their strength of record, which we double count margin of victory, and that's how A plus B plus C equals Ohio State number 1. Nobody wants to hear that. Right? Fans want to go, oh, you must be watching a ton of film to figure out what's going on. Who has time to watch 30 to 40 teams, 2 to 3 hours? And how many of these people have the knowledge, X and O level of knowledge, to have an eye test? They have to do it this way. Otherwise, I think people would get really, really bored seeing the sausage being made in the background.
No matter what else you say the rest of the segment, the fact that you said their behavior, because a lot of people have not liked their behavior just because of what they think is being digested and spit out, correct?
Yeah. Look, if you and I were on the committee, the rankings wouldn't change. The rules that you and I would have to follow wouldn't change, right? Could you imagine, okay, and for the sake of efficiency, could you imagine taking 13 random people out of your chat room right now and put them in a room and say, you have 8 hours to come to a conclusion on 1 through 25, go?
Yep.
Right?
I don't know if I could trust 13 people in our chat room to do anything together.
Even if you could, how are they going to agree on it without concrete rules of ranking teams? Right? And so this is just a microcosm of how big business is done. You have a room full of powerful people, and when they walk in, they are told, here are the ranking rules. That's why it hasn't changed, right? The only thing that changes is the committee chair's message to create drama, and then the media going, "Oh my God, I can't believe how this, and this was ranked." Actually, we can. It's just a really simple piece of paper. But nobody really wants to hear that. I think that's the difficulty there, is nobody wants to see the forest through the trees of what's really happening.
Because, Paul, in the first year, they kept changing the narrative every week. Remember, Jeff Long? Oh, well, it's the color of their uniforms. I mean, it really did kind of drive people crazy.
Game control was his big thing, and travel and all these other things that, you know, I think the other thing, though, is if they told people, like, here are the consistent things, there are probably certain teams that don't want everybody to know that, because then they'll start going, well, if we just get better at these couple things, then we'll hit these metrics. Because if you leave it a little nebulous, maybe that you've got some teams that are just like, well, they're always going to be against us. And if you can create emotion in an administration, then I point you in no further direction than Florida State. Every decision they've made since the snub was emotional and not like fact-based at all.
Right, which I don't understand. I have been doing this for nearly a decade, every single week, telling people, here's how it should fall. Our average miss per week over the last 12 years is less than one ranking spot per team. Just using numbers, not looking at film for 1 second, 5 minutes calculations, right? And for actually, it's interesting you brought it up. Do you think, folks in the chat room, do you think you'd like to know what the key metrics are?
I'd love to.
This is it, okay? This is it. All right, so you got wins and losses, right? You got just simple wins and losses. You have quality wins. Now, a quality win is against a team that is FBS and is currently above 500. Okay, that's how you count a quality win. A top 25 win is teams that you beat that were in last week's top 25. So Florida State, maybe at the beginning of the year, that was top 25. That's not a top 25 win anymore. It's only top 25 teams from last week. You got strength of schedule, you got strength of record, and you have game control. That's it, right? And strength of schedule, they said right at the beginning, it was used as the weapon of last resort when all else is equal. You know, so when you're looking at your top 3 teams right now, Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, they're all undefeated. All of them have 2 top 25 wins. They're pretty equal. Guess what? They're ranked in order of strength of schedule. And folks, it's not the strength of schedule on ESPN or any other quack website out there that puts up their strength. It's not even my strengths of schedule that I calculate. Okay, it's their internal one. And right now, this week, Ohio State was ranked over Indiana, who is ranked over Texas A&M. Right, and that's really it.
Can you say quack wearing an Oregon Ducks beanie? Can you actually get away with that?
Yes, I can.
I can. All right, I know how you're going to probably answer this, but I'm going to ask you questions that the college football fans want to know. Yep. The eye test. I know what you're going to say.
Yep. Nothing. It doesn't exist.
It's a nothing burger, right? It's absolutely.
Well, look at the people that are on there. These are all very, very smart people. They're all very accomplished people, but these are people that work 50 to 80 hours a week already, right? They're busting their butt, and now they are in this volunteer room. And how many of them actually have the ability? Like, if you told me to do the eye test, I don't have the ability to eye test 30 teams side by side. Right? You know, maybe Barry Alvarez does when he was in there, maybe Tom Osborne, but how many hours? So Dave, how many hours would you have to watch a team to get a good eye test on them? 2?
Well,
3? What do you think?
Yeah, and I'd have to do it multiple times. Of course, they're going week by week. Yeah.
But let's say it's 3 hours, and now you have to rank 30 teams. That's 90 hours. There's only 48 hours between Saturday and when they rank these teams. It's impossible. The numbers are impossible, and the ability to do it is absolutely impossible. I think if you go to Twitter, folks, just look up hashtag there is no eye test. I've been saying it for a decade. It doesn't exist.
Long time. Yeah. Does it matter the name of the school, their logo, tradition, or anything bias?
Nope. Look, we have never missed the Final Four in order, ever. using the same one formula. Never missed it. Okay. And so if you simply gave me all of the numbers at the end of the regular season and championship games, we use the same formula, we would have never missed anybody, right? Team A, Team B, Team C, Team D. It doesn't matter. That's another narrative that's a bunch of crap, is the brands. The other narrative that's a bunch of crap is the AP and any of these other preseason stuff actually have any weight. Look, there's only so many places you're going to put Ohio State. Of course, you're going to look at it and go, oh, that's correlated. Nope. These things just happen by the numbers. People draw inferences and just change the narrative just to keep the drama going. But in my opinion, there's absolutely and never has been any drama to this process.
So when you hear Greg Sankey lobbying like he does,
yes,
do you think that that has any effect, or do you think that that is him making sure that his constituents feel like he's doing his job?
Yeah, the latter. The latter, right? I honestly don't think it has any effect. I've worked for a lot of athletic directors that have been in that room. I have provided a lot of numbers and perspective and devil's advocate work for folks inside that room. And Greg does a great job. He's done a great job of giving all these ADs opportunities to make money with the acquisition of Texas and Oklahoma, the acquisition of TV contracts to expand to 9 games. But all the ADs make the decision, and his job is to try to make the SEC more money. So when he's stumping for the SEC, that's his job, right? And it shouldn't be any different for the commissioner of the Big Ten, the Big 12, and the ACC. They're out there representing those teams, trying their best, even if it is a waste of time committee-wise and impact-wise. I think the optics are very important in that situation.
A&M is obviously very good, and I'm not so sure they're not the best team in the country, and eventually we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you said this, but I think you mentioned they have 2 quality wins.
Two top 25 wins, I believe.
Well, okay, so they beat Notre Dame on the road. That's a big deal. Then they also beat 2 teams that I don't know if Missouri's still ranked, in LSU and Missouri on the road. Mm-hmm. Which of those games was the best win for them?
I think they're both the same. They're both quality wins now, right? There's no, like you said, you mentioned Notre Dame. That was a big win on the road, right? It doesn't count any more than another top 25 win. You can't start deciding this is a stronger road win. This takes too much time. Where do you draw the line on that subjectivity? So Notre Dame is a top 25 win. Missouri is not. Missouri's not in the, now technically they were, because they were in the top 25 last week. They fall out. A&M loses a top 25 win for the next ranking system. LSU, it doesn't matter when they played them. That is an unranked team. What Texas A&M needs is Missouri and LSU to finish 75 or better to be a quality win on their resume. It's just that simple.
It is weird that you beat a team and knocked them out of the 25 and then killed your own quality win.
Yeah.
Like that is a weird mathematical thing. But I mean, again, Dave, you're the mathematician.
Yeah.
So
right. It's a full season. Look, when the Ducks beat Penn State was preseason number 1.
Yeah.
Now it's not even a quality win, right? And I think it's wonderful, because that's the football gods giveth and taketh away, right? And this is why we play the games. And I think that's what makes it exciting, is the unknown, not necessarily committee drama.
Another narrative. That they stack teams at the end of the rankings that helps another team or conference.
That one, I can't confirm or deny that one, right? Because we had Cincinnati at 28, and I'm not saying what we do is perfect, but Cincinnati's at 25, and guess who bumped Ole Miss this week? Texas Tech. That makes the Big Ten look better. I can tell you, formula-wise, once you start getting in that bottom 10, we have a very difficult time having the hit numbers as we do in the top 16. So to that question, I've always wondered if that's actually done on purpose to support the upper part, because as we know, the only thing that counts is
what in the hell is that? Your ringtone?
Nah, that's actually that's my burner phone ringtone. I'm sorry, that's an athletic director calling.
Oh.
I got two phones. I got that one and the head coach AD hotline. So
yeah.
okay.
Well, we got a couple more questions, and we'll let you get to them and help their fine coaching staffs because a lot of teams need that right now. Paul,
Dave, what do you think that 9-game scheduling for everybody across the board mean? Like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, it's not gonna balance anything out for the Big 12 or ACC, and get them, more quality wins. I mean, the Big 12's been doing it, but
no, because they're not. It's not going to get them more quality wins because they're playing each other more. It's going to hurt their quality wins. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt it. It's going to be tougher for the SEC to get more teams in because I think they're going to beat themselves up. I really believe because like right now, I don't believe the SEC is anywhere near what it used to be at all. A lot of people go, oh, there's a lot of great play in the SEC. This is as balanced as it's ever been. Yeah, it is. And these teams would get absolutely smoked by Saban and good Kirby Smart teams that had depth. There is not a single SEC team that was top 15 in offense and defense right now. Not a single one, right? That's where elite teams live. There are no elite teams in the SEC. Really good ones, right? Teams that can win a national title, but teams that are great compared to teams of the SEC past, no, I don't believe so. Personally, I would have loved everybody to go to 8 games and 2 non-conference requirements amongst other Power 4 teams. That would have been wonderful because then we could have really gotten a decent perspective. The more games that are played in conference, the less we can compare teams and the more crap we have to listen to from people trying to subjectively guess who's better.
Dave, I think that's a fantastic idea because then we, like, as a public, like one of the things that we were, promised with the alliance, that remember, like, oh, we're going to have these cross conference with the Pac-12 and ACC and Big Ten, and you're going to get to see Clemson and Oregon, and it's going to be amazing. And then they're like, well, that was fake. Well, then we would actually get to see those things, and teams would be forced to have to answer the phone when each other call and say, yes, Georgia, you're going to play Ohio State. Yes, Texas, you're going to play Texas Tech again. Yes, the border war is back all the time. Oklahoma and like those things will happen because they are forced to do it.
Yeah. Something and personally, it's a lot has to do with my experience. When Oregon went to the Big Ten, I was pissed. I hated it. I'm old, I'm crotchety, and I don't like change. But I love going to Autzen Stadium or going up to Seattle and watching Penn State come into town and Ohio State. And I was like, wow, it is really cool to have variety. And playing 9 conference games in the same conference, we don't get that variety. I know it was never going to happen, but man, if Oregon had 8 Big Ten games and a home and home with the SEC and the ACC one year and the Big 12 and the ACC the next and the SEC and the Big 12 after, man, that would be, I think it'd be great for everything because you'd have so much better travel, but then we would also get rid of some of the subjectivity of the committee, which I would love to do, and have more automatic qualifiers. Because if everybody's playing each other, we have a better sense of who's really good. The more in conference you play and the less non-conference, the less we have the sense and the more subjective and ambiguous this whole thing is.
Yeah, you hear I won't bring up alliance because that never did get off the ground, but it would be nice. But all Power 4 conferences, I'm not sure they would agree to that. Yeah, you have a rotation.
Yep.
Yeah, one year you play the Big 12 and you play the SEC. The next, yeah. I think that would be good. And then some people are starting to back away from tougher non-conference games because do they have to even win those games?
Exactly. There's no incentive for non-conference. And a lot of fans are always talking about, man, I want better non-conference. Well, until it is of value to get in the playoffs, it is going to be devalued. And so my thought was, look, at-large teams, make non-conference games count quadruple. Make Notre Dame losing to Texas A&M. I mean, basically, you're locking A&M in, right? But they took the risk of playing a tough road non-conference game. Your reward is you are playing tough outside your conference. That's the way your path in. Until that non-conference game becomes a path into the playoffs, it will be devalued, and our non-conference games will be crap because of it.
You argue with people on Twitter. They keep asking you questions. It's a great follow at CFB Matrix on Twitter for Dave Bartoo.
Math is pretty undefeated. Like that's why I like Dave. It's like he's not just pulling it out of like some sort of conspiracy theory. Math is it's tough to beat numbers.
Well, and that's what we do, right? I mean, our foundation of what we do for college football and the NFL, it's off-field staffing and off-field talent acquisition, and the goal is creating efficiencies and reducing risk. And so those are the two big things we do. But I'm a nerd, so I dabble in the dark arts of playoff projections as well.
All right, one more question.
Yes,
Earlier
sir.
today, we read a tweet from a guy that covers Georgia. He's an SEC columnist, writer. He does a great job, but his opinion was that Texas Tech should not have moved ahead of Ole Miss because they will not play anybody on their schedule that is a blue chip ratio roster.
Oh, Graham's such a dope.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, again, it's strength of schedule. Let me tell you something. Okay, strength of schedule has zero correlation with the quality of the team. None. Okay, go to bowl season, take all the games, pick everybody's strength of schedule. It's as good as flipping a coin. Okay, the schedule you play is not indicative of the quality of your team. So anybody that says strength of schedule matters in terms of anything but a tiebreaker, right? If you got 2-10-2 teams, equal number of quality wins, equal number of top 25 wins. You want to tie break it with a strength of schedule? Cool. But you need to understand that strength of schedule, because I can make up 20 different ones and I can make your team look bad and I can make it look good. Strength of schedule, strength of record. These are the easiest manipulated things when it comes down to metrics. So yeah, you can complain about that stuff. But the bottom line is you can't have your cake and eat it too. And I think that's my biggest problem I have with the SEC is they wanted the money for tougher schedules. Now that they're getting tougher schedules, they want to bitch about how those schedules are perceived and that they're 9-3 and 8-4 teams are actually better than other teams just because they're playing tough schedules now.
Man, the chat loves it. There's not everything you said we agree, they agree with, but pretty much I wanted to get rid of the narratives. I wanted to not get rid of them. I wanted you to answer them. And everybody loves it. They love the Oregon beanie and the bad to the bone ringtone too. I think you might have jumped to the top of the list of our guests.
Well, I appreciate that. And look, I understand too that everything I do, it's not a goal of being right. It's just trying to be on the right. It's trying to be on the right side more often than not. And I'm simply trying to tell stories with numbers without looking at the film. You got plenty of people that watch film, that watch TV, that watch the games. I'm trying to give a different perspective on what I see in the numbers without watching the games and not being an X and O kind of person.